How's it going, guys? Got a quick Ubers match against Xojoseph here. As you can see, he's actually running a lot of dragons on this team. So, MVPs in this match, I'm planning to probably beat, my front three guys, dragons to deal with dragons. I got Ice Move on both Skyman and Metagross. If I had Ice Beam on Vaporeon, that would be fantastic. But I think I'm relatively well equipped for these dragons, provided that they don't set up. That's going to be pretty bad. But he decides to lead off with Garchomp. I'm going to go ahead and lead off with Shaman. Now, if he does end up, being scarfed, that'll be valuable information. I won't want to have to lose Shaman that early, but I'm going to try to go for the HP Ice anyways. Turns out he doesn't lead with the Scarf Chomp. I guess that's kind of something you don't really want to reveal on the first turn. But he takes that HP Ice, alive. I guess he doesn't die from it, and that kind of surprises me, especially with the damage output that he does in return. I guess I'm just underestimating Garchomp's natural bulk, and maybe that's one of the deciding factors as to why it moved up. So he decides to go into Darkrai right now. Thinking about it, switching out moves right here probably wouldn't have been a bad idea, because you can see how much hidden power does. Does a really good chunk first off, but had I gone for 2 air slashes, their stab and whatnot, I do have a little bit of a speed tier edge over him, so had I not killed with this next air slash in the situation where I did go for 2 air slashes, then there was a really good chance of flinching him. Unfortunately, I don't get the 60% chance even with the Serene Grace he's going to put me to sleep with Dark Void. There's a silver lining to this situation. I now have sleep/switch fodder. More than likely not going to end up being sleep fodder, just because it's probably going to end up being switch fodder before that. And I'll end up killing off Darkrai before he can put anything to sleep. I don't think anything else on his team, has a potential to put anything to sleep. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to go into Scizor right now and decide to just go for the Bullet Punch, even though he does decide to go for the Calm Mind right now. I think I got a decent amount of special defense anyway, if he decided to go for an offensive move. Worst case scenario, would have gotten a crit, whatever. I'm sitting pretty good with Scizor, so just going to go for the Bullet Punch. As I mentioned, there was a lot of after-turn effects on that one for some reason, but taking him out, straightforward plays are pretty damn straightforward, I guess. Now, this is the part where mentally I kind of had a little bit of a panic, because in comes Rayquaza, and I run a mixed Rayquaza that has a fire move on it. I think it's either Fire Blast or Overheat. I haven't actually played that Rayquaza in a while. The thing is, I'm scared of the fire move, and I really shouldn't be, because he has a Kyogre on his team, so he probably doesn't have one. But I go into Skyman right now to try to take it, as death fodder. But it actually turns out that, he goes for DD. Now, the thing that kind of surprises me right now is I'm still faster after his first DD. And that just means his attack is now ridiculously high. His speed is not that high, but it is, faster than the rest of my team. He has E-Speed, plus 2 Rayquaza is just, major pucker factor to that, for those of you that understand that term. But he's going to take me out with an E-Speed, definitely at +2, and I don't really have a lot for this thing. If I had Ice Beam on Vaporeon, as I previously mentioned earlier, I think at the beginning of the narration, that would have been great, definitely would have been able to take a hit. Right now, all I can do is send in things, whittle away at them as much as possible. My first one's going to be Scizor, see how much a Life Orb Bullet Punch does from stock. That's probably going to end up being a 3-hit KO, barring, min-max variations or anything of the sort. But he decides to go for the Earthquake. Kind of reveals to me right there that he doesn't actually have the fire move, which is why I feel like a real huge idiot, because he's got DD, he's got the stab move, he's got the E-Speed, which we saw from earlier, and then, he's got the Earthquake, which he used. So, provided I can take a +2 Outrage from a fucking Rayquaza, if this was Life Orb, I would not be taking it. I don't know what item he is. Maybe he's Lum or something like that, or like Yache, because I haven't gone for an ice move, so I'm thinking Lum or Yache, just if he's running Outrage. But decide to go for Scald, hope for the burn, don't get it, but I do get a crit, which kind of helps. I would have valued the burn a lot more, since I'd be able to stall him out and then, actually preserve this Vaporeon. But I'm going to go for the Protect, hoping that he gets a 2-turn Outrage, because if I Protect on the second turn on a 3-turn Outrage, it does in fact reset the counter, or it's like the first turn on a 2-turn Outrage. What is it? It's like the second turn on a 2-turn, or like a, I don't know. 5th gen is weird in that if you Protect on a certain turn of an Outrage, it frees you from it without being confused, and you're able to switch up moves again. So that's not what I wanted him to do right there. I was protecting, hoping that he would get the other one, and would just end up in confusion, but instead it just lets him switch back to Earthquake, and I lose my Vaporeon. But he's at a good range of health where my Rayquaza can come in and take him out. Looking at how much his extreme speed is going to do, I mean, he is faster and everything like that, but +2 extreme speed from him does probably a little over half, I'm gonna say, if I remember correctly. So a little bit over half. Just based on that, I'm figuring, you know, stock with just Life Orb should be able to take him out at the range of health that he's at, which is looking like 20% highballing it, I suppose. But a little bit of Life Orb damage looking pretty good. So Kyogre comes in now. Now this part is actually pretty fucking interesting because his Drizzle takes effect. So he figures he's relatively safe in going for the Thunder after this. But I'm going to go for the Dragon Claw on the off chance that, you know, he's not Scarfed, get some damage off, and we'll see what happens. If he was Scarfed, then, you know, it would let me know what move he was locked in on. But because of my Airlock, and this is like the first time I've ever actually seen Rayquaza's ability come into play, Thunder's accuracy is not 100% in the rain anymore because the rain doesn't exist because of motherfucking Rayquaza. This is like 3rd gen shenanigans all over again. But because of that, Thunder ends up missing, and it's a solid 2-hit KO. And Rayquaza is actually able to put in a little bit of work by, you know, just shifting the score back in my favor by taking out, you know, revenge killing the other Rayquaza, taking out the Kyogre thanks to a Thunder misplay there, I suppose. And then Garchomp had Rough Skin on it, which is kind of annoying. Would have ended up living with 5 from the other thing, but there's no way I could have OHKO'd Dialga in return. I can't OHKO with fucking Blaziken though, so I'm good to go. Just gonna go for the high jump kick. Surprisingly, don't miss. That's all I really have to say about that. Anytime you see a high jump kick, just be prepared to have your hand over your mouth. And then, you know, if I miss, you can go like, oh, in a particularly ghetto fashion. But if I hit it, you can do the same thing, but more positive, I suppose. Whatever you want to do. Anyways, Zekrom comes in after my speed boost. I'm assuming that it's not Scarfed or anything like that. At this point, if it is, once again, I'll know what move it locked himself in on. Can't go for the Flare Blitz because resisted and whatnot. High jump kick is just the better option to go for. Does a really sizable chunk, probably 75 to 80%, and he's going to take me out with Bolt Strike. So I realized that this whole game is just pretty straightforward, but I thought it was pretty fucking interesting, so just don't judge me. But he's going to take me out with a Bolt Strike. Now, I think my last one here happens to be this Metagross, so if he does have the Earthquake, I actually don't know if he has the Earthquake or not. He just ends up going for the Bolt Strike again, so maybe Choice Banded, possibly, maybe, I don't know. Just based on this Bolt Strike damage, I'm not 100% on that. That does a lot, but whatever. So, just ended up taking him out with an Ice Punch. Could have done the job with an Earthquake, I suppose. But that's the end of the game. Left me with a somewhat narrow 1-0, I suppose. And if you guys enjoyed it, welcome to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. Don't think I really have anything on the plate for the future. I've recorded some TCGO just to keep the stock full. I'll see about recording Penumbra again later this week. I had a lot of videos go up yesterday, so if you missed any of them, you know, including TCGO and Penumbra, you can check those out on my channel, or I'll link them in the description since they were pretty sporadic in terms of when I uploaded them. Anyways, that'll do it on me. Hope you guys enjoyed this short little video. I'll see about, you know, uploading a fairly long one tomorrow, and I'll see you then.